pull out of a driveway, you say?
Yeah. It's like, you have a car and
Good, cool.
put it in reverse.
Good. Glad to know.
That's not something you want to...
Yeah,
Welcome, everybody. Hello.
You check the mirrors. And
Welcome.
you gotta make sure there's no garbage.
Man, you know how to retaliate. I think I just gained a vein on the side of my head. So, welcome everyone to our fine show. If anybody new happens to be jumping in, this is just a natural kind of elbow point in the story where we can kind of just get all our ducks a row and figure out what exactly it is that's going on here. And we have somebody who isn't a regular member, so why don't we just go through the people who are part of this stream, just as a reminder. Hi, I'm Will. I run this game. I'm not that nice. But I'm not that mean.
Yeah,
y'all overhype it a little bit.
You haven't killed any of our characters yet.
Yeah.
That's not true.
I've never turned any of your characters into a sculpture.
Yes.
Also not true.
You never sent any of our characters home because they didn't have a permission slip.
I've never divorced any of you.
No.
I've never broken
You know
up
what?
with
Yeah,
any of
you're
you.
terrible. Most of those were to me.
Yeah.
Hey, you get to have a nice hat.
That everyone makes fun of.
Well, it is
To
a
be
funny
fair,
hat.
it is a stupid hat.
It is a stupid hat. But he let you have it. He hasn't
Yeah.
taken that yet.
Yeah, he hasn't
Yeah.
taken
Not
my
yet.
hat away from me. Although he did for an episode where he was just like, please take off the freaking hat.
You had to be discreet. You're kind of noticeable.
Yes, I am. I am Ken. I am the streamer. I am the one who does all the streaming on this channel. I play Reggie, who is very ostentatious.
Yeah.
Reggie
Way to
is
describe him.
a big ol' sturdy turtle boy with a lot of armor who is able to get in the way of most hits and kind of just cackle at them.
And he can get in the way of his own love life.
And your love life.
Yeah.
Oh.
Speaking of which,
Hi, I'm Gabe.
This isn't even like a particularly romance-themed game. It's just it happened and backstory things happened and now y'all are vicious.
Yeah, now we're all mean to each other. I'm Gabe. I play Henny, detective of sorts, paranoid, used to have masks, used to have a girlfriend, used to have sort of a purpose in life.
still haven't found a life.
Still haven't really found what I'm looking for.
Henny is our intrepid former investigator. I guess currently definitely still an investigator,
Yeah.
but not in an official capacity.
Not in like a legal way.
Our local knowledge repository.
Especially when you would rather not.
It's good times.
Yeah.
Speaking of rathering not,
Oh no.
I'm Chelsea. I play Vesta, who has had some traumatic backstories.
Plural.
Plural.
It's not even because you wrote a super tragic character. You're just still alive.
I'm just still alive.
You aren't like Leland who went home and was like, fuck all of this, I'm never talking to you again.
Yeah.
You aren't like Salas who was butchered alone in an abandoned mine shaft.
Yeah.
You know, your brother.
You know my brother, who I grew up with.
I'm Lane. I'm playing Elmira. I'm not usually on this stream, so I'm just visiting. So.
And Elmira is one of our cast of NPCs who will be popping up now and again. That being said, I'm not going to sit here and be like, hi, here's a group of 11 or so people who are purposefully numerous to kind of obfuscate the fact that I'm talking to people in-game. So until then, we'll introduce people one by one, starting by Elmira. So this is a fun little thing because you've guessed it on our show once before, and
Yes.
I'm curious to know what your impression of who you think Elmira is, because this is collaborative storytelling, and so some people will be familiar with this character, but you do have some flexibility here.
I was told how to do the voice, the
Yes.
Elmira voice, which is to talk up really high like this and swear a whole fucking lot.
Yeah.
I remember that fondly. That was my favorite part.
Yeah.
I remember. Well, she's an archer, and she has a partner. I think
Yes.
I remember that.
Yes.
Trunk.
that's an important plot point. You guys are on a cursed boat.
Oh,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
I got us a cursed boat.
You got us a cursed boat.
It's a riverboat, which you have driven out to sea.
Fun.
It
Oh,
is
shit.
burnt to a crisp because it's very, very cursed, but also holding steady. It's like a river hauler, so it has room for Reggie's wagon, a bunch of horses, like a lot of horses. Like, seriously, your entire hold is full of horses. You may notice this on the map, which we'll get to in a little while. How did I jump off of that? What was my segue? I swear it was
We're
something
on a
relevant.
cursed boat,
We're on a
and
cursed
something
boat.
related to Trunk, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yes. There are only 2 people who are actual trained, competent sailors, and that's not enough to ride this boat, so basically everybody is being forced to learn here. In particular, Trunk is Elmira's longtime partner, ace battle buddies. Been at it for 20 years, ganking shit, being buds. It's a good time. Trunk is a Torg. He's a massive green creature, and he's actually a former member of the Navy, so he knows how to get you around. Likewise, the other sailor that's going to be with you is Steelfist. He's an off-kilter sort of brawler, a draconian. He's an elementalist, but in the least traditional sense of the word. He punch hard. And he's...
Well,
He punched well, and he's basically lived a lot of his young life on or around boats, so he isn't necessarily a professional sailor the way Trunk is, but he also is very proficient. And all of y'all are not really trained at this at all. As
Yeah.
it happens, you're some of the people who are first awake. You've all made your way onto the decks of the ship. Do you want to move to that camera so we can sort of establish where everybody
Yeah.
is?
The bow.
Meow.
all right.
So as you can see, the belly of the ship just says many horses, because there are many horses.
We have many a horse.
So many horses.
It's like a John Mulaney bit.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Now the important question is, who is doing what? None of you guys have really been on a ship before, but boats exist, so I'm going to let you guys use your out-of-game knowledge of boats, as long as it's not anything beyond the standard, to sort of try and figure out what you're going to do here.
So I'm gonna guess that there's like a kitchen on this boat.
Yep,
Somewhere?
there's a galley.
So I'll probably be the chef.
Yeah, Henny, waking up early, went to go make coffee, like she has been doing for the past couple weeks, and for some inexplicable reason is silently crying now. Weird.
Reggie is going to get up and he's going to take the spare cup of coffee that Henny made
Okay.
and go about his day.
Okay,
No,
so you're
that's
going
red.
about your day. Oh, that's red. Oh, that would make sense.
Yes,
Kinda color
it's the
coded
red
them.
R.
Actually, why don't you bring Red out too, as well as
Okay.
Trunk, Steelfist, and Elmira, who is the purple E rather than the gray E. That would be Albjorn.
Yeah.
And then just shove everyone else in the crew cabin below decks.
Get down there.
That's the wrong
I think
side.
this one's the crew.
The big one that says crew on it.
That is the big one that says crow on it. Never mind.
Beside the horses.
I don't have my glasses on. It's fine.
Why don't you?
I don't know. I didn't feel like wearing my glasses.
Okay.
Speaking of glasses, I think my glasses are a little bit too loose and it's driving me nuts.
It's a bad time.
I can tighten those for you.
Excellent.
So now,
Our dog could tighten your glasses.
she's tried.
Well, anyhow, y'all are sort of meeting up and figuring this out for the first time. As for time of day, where is that remote? Where's the fancy light
behind you.
remote? Oh, behind me?
Behind.
Behind!
Behind.
We have a fancy light remote. I'm
We
gonna
do.
go back to the main cam.
Not to pull back the curtain too far.
Come on. Give us some credit. We're producers, baby. We run this show.
Hey, I'm walking in.
We're making a media production. You gotta
As ghetto
respect
as
this a
it
little
is,
bit.
it's still ours.
Now look in, say. You got lights? We know what to do with them.
Now, at this point, I'm realizing that we're like a decent bit into this episode and still haven't established what the hell is going on aside from who we are, where we are, and a few of the people we're with. As for what we're doing, we're gonna figure that out in a little bit. But moreover, why don't we get up to speed as to whatever is going on here?
We got 2 heads in boxes.
Yeah, that's sort of
That
not
that is-
helpful, but it's true.
that is incorrect. One of them is not in a box.
It's in a bucket.
It's in a bucket.
But the bucket's in a box.
Of probably very sloshing liquid right now.
Yeah.
They're both in liquid.
So what I remember, I'm gonna try to actually be helpful.
Okay.
What I remember is the heads were people that we fought,
Yes.
but they can regenerate. So we have to keep their heads in a bucket. One is in a bucket of sleeping potion, so that it can't cause any mayhem.
Because they are also still alive.
And they are very powerful magicians is the wrong word, but mages.
It would be a regional thing.
Yeah.
And they're the people. There's more of them, the life drinkers, and that's what we're trying to stop.
Yes. But unfortunately, it's sort of a conspiracy. So,
So how do you feel about conspiracies?
how do you feel about conspiracies? Most people don't really like the way that we've broken the laws, and
And murdered people.
they're still alive. But no, they would see it as murder when they find their sort of headless
Well,
body.
we did murder other people in order to get to them.
That's
We
except for
have
ours.
murdered many people.
Yeah, like our hands are not clean, for sure.
So basically, you guys have been, in the eyes of the public and in the eyes of the life drinkers, basically roving around the mainland causing havoc.
Yeah.
Wanton murder. You have this weird connection to a lot of, like, industrial disasters and stuff for some reason.
Yeah, we really do.
Like, it's more than once, which is a bit unusual. As for your own personal accounts, those are in the past, so, they'll come up when they come up, but right now you're just trying to get out of Dodge.
Now, to be fair, we only technically directly burned one building to the ground.
Yeah, only once on purpose.
Only once on purpose.
And only once was it your doing.
Yeah, we were just sort of there coincidentally, sort of pulling the strings behind the scenes, but
So that's kind of that's kind of the group that we got with us right here.
yeah,
Shady people who are unwilling to admit that it's very easy to paint them as terrorists in some capacity.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
think we all realize that. We're just like, whatever. What do they know?
what do they know? You don't know me. You don't know my story.
Wake up, sheeple.
You don't know what my sass factor is.
Now, that's another good question. What do they know? Being, what do y'all know? There's 2 trained sailors on this boat. We need 4 trained sailors to run it, which means we might need 6 if we got some untrained sailors. Who is doing what?
Well, I know how to climb. So if a navigator needs to be up high, I might be a candidate.
Can run up and down the rigging?
I feel like Henny has read a lot about boats, but it's also about rigging and that sort of thing, and more about just the horrible conditions pirates live in. So, Henny knows about things like cannons misfiring and splinters getting into wounds. And
So,
Let me tell you the real reason why they wear eye patches.
Yeah.
So.
exactly.
you're the kid at like a stay away summer camp that's closer to the counselors here in
Yes,
this situation. You're gonna stay
absolutely.
close to Trunk and Steelfist.
Absolutely. Eager to learn, though.
I would say Reggie, given his military lifestyle, is 100% okay taking orders with anything involving the rigging. Big, strong boy, able to pull all the ropes.
All right, so you're going to be staying on decks as well, and I believe you were going to be the galley cook.
Yeah, cook.
Which
Vesta
means-
would not want to be a sailor of any sort.
Which means you're not being taught anything, but you have challenges of your own.
Yeah.
So who wants to sort of jump in first here in terms of learning the ropes?
I mean, if we're going to learn the ropes, then that would be me.
All right.
Are we learning literal ropes or figurative
Oh, yeah.
ropes? Oh, literal ropes.
Oh, that's where it comes. Oh, that's where the whole sort of thing.
Yes.
Why'd you say that?
Yes.
Thanks, boats.
Did you just have an Oxford moment?
I did.
I guess Elmira would probably hop in,
Yeah.
learn some stuff,
Learn the ropes.
learn the ropes.
Okay, now I'm sick of it. Don't say it again.
So the 3 of you are on deck with Steelfist and Trunk. They're getting things ready to go, and overnight, as you guys sort of laid down anchor, you had your sails sort of furled up. Currently, that's to say, Trunk is sort of directing you. Steelfist, if anything, is following orders from Trunk. He's looking for you guys to basically start rigging up the mainsail and both of the jibs. You guys see two big sticks that you think are masts. You think you know that word. And they have a bunch of cloth attached to them by ropes.
Okay, mainsail. Oh wait, I should probably get in. Mainsail is probably the big one, right?
I would assume so, but I would have thought the mainsail would already be attached, sort of, by nature of it being the main sail. And I look up. Do I see a sail attached to the main big mast?
So you see two masts. There is one that has a long thing on it. And you notice that it seems to be swingy. There's also a bunch of like loops connected to the side of the ship, and there's way too many ropes. Like there's like, you're not sure why there are so many ropes. Also, all of these are triangles, and you're realizing now that you aren't entirely sure how to use triangles to make a ship go forward.
I might be completely wrong, but in my real life knowledge of boats, I think the jib is the one that's like parallel with the direction of the boat. Like it's going front to back, not side to side.
And you would be correct.
Nailed it.
So, Elmira, you scurry up to the top of the first one. You unloose all of the ropes that are being used to sort of just keep it tied around the front mast. And as you do that, it's a big triangular sail that's already sort of stuck at the top and bottom. There's just another loose bit that needs to be connected by two strings on either side of the ship. And then these go, or not strings, ropes. And then these go through sort of loops, and then they have a different anchor point. And someone's supposed to be manning one of those.
I'll man that one then, I guess. Whichever one seems the most.
Oh, you'll have to go
intensive.
between a couple of these.
Okay,
basically.
that's fine.
There is another jib and then the mainsail.
I can man the other jib.
I also realize it's not also a jib. It's just I also don't know that much about boats.
The truth comes out.
And boats are the kind of thing that you can get real pedantic about. So I'm just gonna disavow right off the bat that I'm not a boat dude.
There is another
Let's see.
piece of cloth attached to this piece of wood.
There's another boat part. Do a boat thing.
So as you guys are running around, sort of carrying rigging between each other, Vesta, you're below decks. What do you have in terms of your actual like rations that you remember picking up for the ship?
I only have my rations.
Well,
So,
didn't each of us buy 30 days worth?
yes.
Me and Trunk came back carrying, 30 days worth of rations for everybody.
Hardtack
All right.
and fish.
Hardtack and fish.
So
That's what you have.
you go
Nice.
below deck. I'm gonna enrich things a little bit because otherwise this is going to be a very depressing episode.
Oh, well, yeah, sure. Whatever Trunk would have thought to purchase, which all I know so far is that he purchased fish and I was sort of in a sad, manic state. I wasn't really paying attention.
You just took the coins out of your purse.
Yep.
All right,
Your
so
second purse given to you by Bea because the other one was stolen.
Chelsea,
Yeah.
you may want to take notes for these because this is going to be a matter of permutations over your travels so that people don't go insane. You have a short list of food items at your disposal, and now it's going to be kind of a creativity moment.
Oh, goodness. I'm not actually good at cooking in real life.
So you have, curiously, you remember only getting one of these, but you have each of the following. You have hardtack sea biscuits, and the other one says like ocean biscuits for some reason.
To differentiate from sea biscuits.
As you look through each of them, they are identical items.
Nice.
You also note that these are like just they're like hardtack is the name of them for a reason. These are like brick hard. Like you can't eat these just like that.
Can't wait for some ocean brand sea biscuits.
Like, these things are literally flour and water.
Okay. Is this all I have?
That's the first of the things you have.
Okay.
You also have stockfish, which are like dried, terrifying looking fish that are hanging down all around the galley.
Okay.
You have salt pork, and you have salt cod. The stockfish is not something you necessarily want to use right away. The salt
Okay.
cod is going to go bad like halfway through.
Okay. So the stockfish lasts longer than the cod does.
It's like, it's not realistic. That sort of stuff would last like months on end, but we're running a game here.
Yeah.
You have peas.
Trunk bought the discount salt cotton.
It was past his best before.
Yeah. Trunk is the sort of dude to say, it doesn't really mean anything. It's just a label. Buy it anyway.
Peas.
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 We wouldn't be done.
And then you've got cheese and you've got butter.
Those are going to go bad pretty quickly.
Yeah. And then last but not least, you've got, what was the last one? I'm trying to remember what that was. Molasses.
Molasses. I don't know how to spell molasses.
2 S's first and then one after. 1 L. And that's all you got. That's what you got to work with.
I know what it says. That's all that matters.
As long as you can read your handwriting.
So people are probably going to want breakfast.
Shit. Sucks, guys. Like,
You're a baker. You make the sea biscuits.
okay. How
She doesn't
long?
make sea biscuits.
How long do peas, cheese, and butter last?
You've got enough that they would last, like, until the end of, like, a 30-day span. You did get 30 days of rations, but there aren't enough of them that you would eat every day. You're going to have to basically sparse all of these ingredients out.
Okay.
So instead of telling you how much, I'm going to tell you how many days. Like, out of every 2, out of every 3, you can have everything.
Okay.
So-
do we want to go back to the list and you tell me that?
Yeah, all of the meat is every 2 days. The cheese and the butter are also every... Well, the cheese is every 2 days. The butter is like for cooking, so it's
Mhm.
every day.
Okay.
The peas are every 3 days, as is the salt pork. Anything that isn't mentioned, you can use every day.
Okay. Cheese was 2, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Henny, stop eating the butter. That's for cooking.
That's nasty.
Yeah.
It's
You have-
really freaking nasty.
You have lots of hardtack, though.
What is molasses? Somebody explain
It's
this.
like a
It's like
sweet...
it's you're probably going to describe it better, but it's kind of like a syrup, but really, really thick and really, really dark.
Maple
when you
syrup,
pour it,
but more
it just
maple syrup.
just pours forever.
When you refine sugar, basically it splits out into that and then, like, white sugar.
I was gonna say it's what completely engulfed that town back in the molasses spill of
This is true.
whatever year it was.
It's
People were
slow
just
moving
stuck.
and it's impossible to deal with. It's actually dangerous in that kind of situation. Like, people died.
Yeah. So maybe I shouldn't be making jokes about it.
It's like Pompeii in like very slow down speed.
Well, people want breakfast.
So what you gonna do?
Come back to me.
Come back to you. So meanwhile, you guys have put all the sails together. There's the 2 jibs and then the main sail. You guys have been informed about the boom. Does anybody know why it's called the boom?
Because if it hits your head, it goes boom. I'm
Exactly.
so sorry, microphone. That was probably
Not the worst thing in the world.
okay.
So, yeah, the boom basically off of the mast is what's securing the mainsail, and all of these triangular sails basically, like, pivot back and forth. Now, which way are you going? Because that's the next big piece of information. By now, Vesta's come up just to be like, what the hell is this? Like, reading things that are in the wrong language for, like, the molasses and stuff like that. So you guys are all gathered in one place to kind of figure out which way you're going.
Map.
Map.
It's the map.
It's the map.
It's the map. It's the map. It's the map.
So I'm assuming we're heading south, first off.
There is a village down there you'll pass by.
I'm going to increase the pin size, because it'll make it easier for me to grab it in the future. So there's the village that is down here. We could definitely go to. And then, you know what? Might as well just go right into the open ocean.
Yep.
It's fine. I don't see any issues with this whatsoever.
Steelfist chimes in. I don't know about that.
But we got a ghost ship.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem, actually.
Oh,
It's a riverboat. It's got a flat keel.
yeah, but the ghost ship will protect us. Isn't that what it's supposed to do?
Could we make the keel bigger?
Uh,
Like with the rigging, could we?
okay, so the keel.
Bottom of the boat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, if we went to port and got it fixed, but I don't know. This thing ain't supposed to dock at port.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And if I remember correctly,
Okay.
the exact description was, it'll treat you right, not, it will stop you from capsizing.
I don't know. That sounds like treating me right to me.
Trunks chimes in and goes, yeah, I mean, I guess we gotta work with what we've got, but this is going to be a tippy one.
Well, let's stay near the coast then, I suppose.
So you guys are heading south?
Well, I mean, I agree with Reginald. I think we should get out of this particular river system quickly. I mean, they're looking for us, and they have guards everywhere. Like, if we can at least get where we're not so, constrained.
All right. So, does anybody want to roll a very important d6 and tell me the result?
I roll.
Okay.
4.
4.
Four.
So, because you're so close to shore, you don't need to necessarily be up in the crow's nest. If anything, you're using it to navigate. The wind is, luckily enough, heading straight south, so it's pretty straightforward what you're doing. You loose the jibs as much as you can. There's 2 of them. They're sort of catching the wind as it goes forward to give it a bit more pull, and the mainsail is all the way out to sort of get the most of the wind that it can. You're making good headway, and luckily you're sort of in a channel here, so the waves aren't too crazy. That being said, the boat does genuinely feel wobbly, like it's not dealing with the fact that there are waves very well.
Oh, I don't like this at all.
That being said, you're making good headway. As it happens, does somebody want to roll odds or evens?
Oh, well.
Yay!
Odds.
That's odds.
The wind's actually really going. At this point, you hear like Trunk and Steelfist talking to each other, and they're like, I don't know, you think? The channel's too. I don't know. You're not sure what they're saying. They're sort of like quietly talking to each other, but you can tell they're talking something about running this boat.
What are you saying?
Oh, we're wondering if we should bring out the spinnaker.
The Spinawati?
The spinnaker.
Uh-huh.
Here to explain.
And then she's just like...
At this point, like Steelfist chimes in and he goes, I don't know, I think it's weird that this thing even has one. It shouldn't. It's a riverboat. That ain't safe.
Spinnaker.
I'm assuming we're going to have to spinnack something?
It's a very, very large sail.
So... Okay.
At this point, Trunk sort of like looks frustrated at Steelfist and goes, well, and I'm not going to do this in the voice because this is information that is kind of
Important.
like needs to be heard. It's a very like large triangular sail that you basically unfurl in front of the entire boat, and it pulls it along, but it only works when you're being pulled directly like the direction the wind is going. Otherwise, it does not function as a device.
Well, I mean, given the fact that we have 2 competent sailors, it sounds like kind of a complicated sort of endeavor to set up an entire sail out front of the boat, and then if the wind dies, we're going to have to, maybe until we get a little more confident, we should...
You'd also be going real fast down what's still reasonably wide at your speeds, but otherwise is a bit of a narrow channel. And you guys don't want to be too close to shore. You are escaping like groups of patrols that are looking for you.
Now, to be fair, they won't be looking for a ghost ship. Unless they were notified by the crazy captain that...
I don't know, I think Crazy Captain's got her back. He did give us this ghost ship.
I don't know if you could really... I mean, it sounded like he just wanted to get rid of it. I don't know.
And we did him a solid, so he'll do us a solid back.
I admire your optimism.
Thank you.
So, do you guys remember how the event cards work?
I do. You pull black cards every single time.
That's how
That's
event
not
cards
how
work
I-
for Gabe.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not how I remember it. I remember pulling red cards every single time.
Yeah, well...
I know red is good and black is bad.
So, who's going to be spotting?
Other
All right. You've got a card in your hand, and then draw another one and pick which one is happening to the boat.
See, this is how it's done. So you pull a red, and then you pull another red. Okay, at least I got that. So
Reginald, what are you going on about?
I'm trying to learn the Hearthstone game, but like, it's just like you're playing the wrong game, Reg.
Reginald, you need a different... No, Reg.
It's probably
Oh,
worth
Reg.
mentioning that as a gag from, like, at this point, multiple episodes, Hearthstone is an in-universe game that's just, like, a traditional card game. I don't even know why. I think it was just because it came up as a gag, and then it just...
It was a Gabe non sequitur.
Listen, I just want to add to that non sequitur and say that Hearthstone has Reddit energy and Magic the Gathering has 4chan energy. And I'm not going to explain or elaborate. These are just facts.
Okay,
I
well,
understand.
I got a 3 of diamonds, and I'm feeling pretty good about sailing.
Okay. You guys start making some decent distance. Want to pull up the old mapperoo.
Macaroni.
You move 3 whole squares.
3? That's amazing.
So it's still a little bit after dawn. Now it's the early morning, and if you wanted to, you could try to get close to that village. That being said, patrols, and also you just left.
I'm going to go down to the galley. Hey, Vesta,
Yes.
we're coming up to a village. Is there any supplies we're lacking or missing? Or
Nope. I think we're okay in terms of food.
Perfect.
How honest is that answer?
Not very.
I want to roll understand. What's your deceive skill again?
2.
Okay, I thought it was higher.
She's not that deceptive.
I also am not trying to deceive you. I
Huh.
think what you'd get from that is like Vest is probably not being 100% honest, but like is also not totally lying to you.
Okay, I'll trust you. If we starve to death, that'll just be, I guess, one of the least painful ways we could die.
All right. Henny closes the door and heads back upstairs. Meanwhile, Chelsea is now in the galley.
Yes.
Or Vesta's
I've
rather.
Chelsea! Oh no!
There's just a portal that opens up.
Man, you're fucked.
With my dungeon master powers, I cast ye aside.
I've decided that I'm gonna do it. So I have almost 3 days now. I'm gonna do 6 days, and then we can have like it because some of these are every 3 days, and some of them are every 2 days. And
Lowest common denominator.
lowest common denominator between 3 and 2 is 6, but 6 doesn't evenly fit into 30. So, but like I was like, it's fine.
That would have been a great time for me to dab, but I've been banned, so.
So, you did some math. Now, what's for breakfast?
Breakfast, day 1, sea biscuits and cod. The first day, pretty boring, but then I started getting funky with it.
cod and sea biscuits. I like.
Yeah, cod and sea biscuits.
So, okay, you got a fish and you got extremely hard biscuits that you cannot just eat. Well, you're a lapine, so you have like the teeth. So you and Elmira and Milton, who is also here,
And Rollins.
and Rollins. Yeah, actually, there's a lot of people who could just like bite into these, but it's like they have to file their teeth down. You don't, or the rest of the party doesn't, and so they kind of need those to be not
I
filed
also
down.
just realized we don't have a Rollins token.
It'll happen when it
Soaked
happens.
sea biscuits.
He's with absolution.
Soaked in water.
Water.
Okay,
Not for very long. Just long enough for their soft, so that they're soft.
that's
so
still
it's-
for a little bit.
So it's nice. So it's like a nice slimy outer layer and a rock solid center.
Just gotta dip it back in.
Take
No
a couple
double
bites, dip it.
Everyone gets a bowl of water,
Yeah.
and like that's also your water ration
Yeah.
for today. But you have to dip it in, take a bite, dip it in, take a bite. You're
Yeah.
getting your water ration. You're getting whatever the fuck's in a sea biscuit.
Flour mostly.
Flour mostly.
Flour and what used to be water.
And also hardtack somehow. I don't know how they put more hardtack in it.
See, it's the ultimate game. You have this like hard bread thing, and you're like, is it hardtack? Is it a sea biscuit, or is it ocean biscuits? Like capital O, capital B with a little TM.
Nice.
That's the ultimate secret of this entire game, is that it's a setup for this one episode where you're taste testing to try and see if the brand is beatable or better than the others.
Gordon Ramsay's a dang life drinker. He's like, oh, you can decapitate me, but first you gotta give me like food that I like.
That's the real kitchen nightmare.
You decapitate him, and you're just like, finally, I can make some fucking food. And then he just comes back. He's like, you called that?
Oh, yeah. Have you ever seen the intro to like Hell's Kitchen or Kitchen Nightmares or whatever, where he's like, they have that cool rock song like, and there's like knives flying at Gordon Ramsay while he's like standing at a target. It's like, and he catches one. It's like he has telekinetic powers. It's hilarious.
Why are
Yeah.
they going at him though?
Exactly. That's the joke. He's like, watch. And we're like, that's great. Why aren't you attacking us? He's like, oh no, I'm not worried. Like, that's just to prove I can do it. Cook me some food, and then I'll decapitate myself. Like,
So speaking of cooking food, so you have this is the salt cod, right? Not the stockfish.
Yes. No, stockfish, completely different item.
All right, so you have salty fish, which still needs to be cooked. It's just like salted so it isn't full of bacteria.
Okay. Yeah. I cook that in the oven.
All right, so we got some
that was a
oven
little
cooked cod and sea biscuits just in water.
Yes. That's what you're getting, guys. Hope you like it.
So, do you want to roll baking?
Tortugas have like a little beak, right? Like, I'm gonna say I'm gonna put her on the table, peck at it.
if
Ooh, I got
if I chip my tooth, that's a
threes.
dentist problem. If you break your entire mouth, that
That's a
becomes
10. 10 exactly.
Well, in terms of practical terms, in universe, it's still a dentist problem, just like bigger.
yeah.
So, what'd you roll?
10 exactly.
10 exactly. So, you guys have some. For breakfast, you guys have like some oven baked cod. It's decent enough. It's decently made. And a bowl full of water. And a hard, like rock solid piece of bread in it.
Can I break it and soak both ends at the same time?
Can I roll science to see if there's a way to like speed up the softening of this?
Well, that's a good question. It presumably for the entire group, because you would have to do it in a few batches. It takes you like a half hour or so to like oven roast some cod.
Mm-hmm.
It takes you about 2 hours to soak the hardtack.
So the hardtack is probably still hard by the time you guys get it.
So we're just sitting there eating our fucking cod, looking at this hardtack as it as it basically becomes like the dinosaurs that you put in water. It just slowly kind of softens up a little bit.
Now, important question. You guys are on this boat. You're at the table eating, quote unquote, your hardtack.
Seabiscuit.
Seabiscuit. So it was a Seabiscuit this time.
No, it was been a Seabiscuit this whole time.
Absurd.
I never would have been able to tell the difference. Wow.
You really made this Seabiscuit taste like hardtack.
Thank you.
My compliments. Wait, I'm not doing the voice. My compliments to the fucking chef.
So while Trunk and Steelfist are out there with other people working, you guys, like, the four of you plus Red and Albjorn, two people who've been with you for a decent bit of time, you're all there just sort of sitting at the table. But what's the actual geometry of the table? It seats 6.
Like this.
Yeah, probably just like this.
Well, it's similar to this, except Reggie is a little bit. He takes up a little bit more room.
Now, bow stern?
Yeah, bow stern, for sure.
Okay, so who is sitting bow side and who is sitting stern side?
I'm sitting right in the middle.
I'll go bow.
I'll go stern.
Okay.
No.
So you're basically sitting there, you're staring at your hardtack and water. And right as the boat rocks, everyone's just sort of sitting there looking at it, even Vesta. Like, this is your breakfast too, and you're kind of like, okay. And this, like, river boat in, like, a channel out to sea gets a nice rock, and as you're sitting there staring at it, both of you watch it just sort of flop out to the side. Are you guys sitting on the same side?
Yeah, probably.
Sure.
You guys see, like, Red and Albjorn go, oh, as there's, like, doubles over and slides down the table, and both of you get, like, 2 half bowls of water flowing directly onto your laps.
I would also like to point out that I'm Tortugan, so I need to eat twice the amount. So it's an even bigger bowl with 2 pieces
Seabiscuits.
that just.
Well, the fish was very nice.
Thanks.
Right now it looks
The
like
fish
I
was
pissed
better than
myself.
rations.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well.
So let's check the map. Let's see how we're doing. Who's going to be keeping an eye out this time?
I guess I will.
All
I
right.
don't know if it's a volunteer
Yeah, you
based.
can.
Okay.
It's all volunteer based.
So you'll want to have one card in your hand, and you're going to want to draw another one, and then pick which one's happening to you this time.
So, Jack of Clubs or
This one.
6 of Diamonds.
All right.
So
And
you're
does somebody
gonna
want to
take the
roll
6 of
a
diamonds.
Yes.
fateful d6?
So you put the 6 of Diamonds back in the
I will. 4. Nice even number.
Okay. The wind is still heading nice and sharply south, which is to your benefit. You guys are, from beforehand, you would have moved basically to the end of the thing. Do you want to move to the next one?
Yeah. Which space are we on? We'd be heading to
Oh, right. I
Like,
have.
E4?
We are currently in E3, so we'd be going to E4.
Okay. I'm trying to turn on E4. There we go. E4 is turned on, and I forgot to turn off E3. Because that's how this works. Stupid Stream Deck takes forever. There we go. Nope. There we go.
All right. So you would be basically cresting the edge of that sort of, not necessarily, yeah, like right past that second point there. So by now you guys have been heading more or less south. You've been curving eastward and westward to follow the coast. And as this happens, the boom keeps flipping back and forth as you adjust the sails, tightening and loosening as you need to. Overall, it's been good sailing. The wind's been going in the right direction. It's a nice salty sea breeze, which has been good for your sinuses. Especially Elmira, you're in front of the boat keeping an eye out. So you're sitting there going, it's nice. There's no catch.
I appreciate it.
Myra, who are you talking
It was
to?
acceptable.
sea gods. Are you going to
Fucking Poseidon, what the fuck do you care?
Poseidon's not real. And
You're
I'm
not real. This
right.
one.
I'm a lamp, and you wake up. You turn over in bed, and there's Trunk, and you say, "I've had a horrible dream."
I have lost track of what exactly it is that's going on, but it's the late morning, which means it's almost noon, which means it's not time for lunch yet, so Vesta has a moment's freedom. Which way are you guys heading next? You've now reached that point. Across the mouth of this is a big open bay, is a place called Raven's Rook. Only a small amount of the party members are wanted there upon penalty of death. Only 4.
Only 4.
Yeah.
Including me.
Yeah.
No, including you.
Which, to be fair, is actually not that bad, considering that all of you are being actively hunted on the mainland for a murder.
It'll die down in a bit, I'm sure.
Only one murder, though.
Just the big important one. The guards, they didn't really care.
Yeah. Murder.
Murder, yeah.
He's technically still alive.
Yeah, I mean,
He's still alive. It's just assault.
we just removed most of his body.
It's just assault with a deadly weapon.
And I mean, to be fair, well, I guess he didn't even really fight back. No, you're right.
He also did try to kill us with an assassin firing squad.
Well, yeah, that is true. You did try that.
That's a long time ago, though.
So where are we going? Where are we heading? You guys are
Well-
kind of just out in the open, in the water.
What's the deal with that island out there? What do we know about it?
You don't know too much. Just an island in the middle of the bay. It's Venkrum, so it'd be your home kingdom. Fishing happens there, probably. Know where you've been.
Can I roll politics to see if I know?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm just trying to think if it would be a safe place to lay low, or if we want to go even further.
I'm just gonna
I
check
rolled
the
a
coastline
14.
for this. So that is just Moore Bay, and then if we head south from that, Moore Bay, and what do you know? Moore Bay
And Delta.
and Delta, where we definitely are wanted for murder.
Your politics roll was a 14, right?
Yes.
That island is a military encampment. No.
Oh no! Oh no!
It's also a naval encampment, so if they spot you, they have bigger boats that are faster that will find you.
Oh, okay, so let's avoid that island a lot. Very hard, actually.
Go shit.
But this is a bay, so unless we want to circle the bay until we're good,
Gotta land somewhere.
Well,
yeah. But should we land somewhere where a third of the party isn't wanted or under penalty of death? Should we say head to New Farm Market, south of here?
so you're saying our options are
I think I'm also wanted for death in the farm market.
so just
no, they're just people who have tried to kill us there.
listen, Reginald. I am trying really hard not to be sort of pessimistic, disastrous, but you're saying our 3 options are an island chock full of Navy
I
officers
did
that
not
want us
list
dead.
that as an option. That was
Okay,
you.
great. I'm glad. You're saying our 2 options are the site of the most bloody massacre to have taken place at the hands of the life drinkers, or the annual meetup spot for all of the life drinkers.
I was just saying New Farm Market as an example. It's a popular port.
All I
Point
guess-
is, and Steelfist jumps in and interjects, I think y'all need to look at the bigger picture. Come on, the bay? If we're on the run, let's see shit.
Right?
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Red and Eldor nearby are both going, see shit, see shit, see shit.
What shit is there to see?
I don't know, but
Can we
probably
see the
more
sea?
shit.
Like the ocean?
There's probably more shit to see than circling the bay for a month and then going somewhere where you're wanted for death.
Why don't you guys unfurl the world map? because now you should be able to figure out where you are now in that bay.
Okay.
Because really, there's only a small part of the world where you're going to be murdered.
Yeah, like this part of the world.
You could go really far south.
Yeah, so New Far Market is roughly around.
And what's even
here.
south of that?
Oh yeah, that little continent there.
That
bit
continent
here.
there.
That is the land of Soth. It was meant to be like a great merchant kingdom where everybody had their own great palatial gardens and it's a jungle paradise and all that stuff. But basically, due to international disputes, it got trade locked and it's just kind of a really, really ostentatious wasteland. People live there. It's just like McMansions, and maybe 1 out of every 10 is occupied.
Well, I mean, that sounds like a pretty good place to lay low if there's just a bunch of abandoned buildings and nobody likes it there. I shouldn't say no one likes it there, but nobody. I mean, if they're kind of locked out, I doubt they'll have great ties to people trying to kill us. Although there's probably life drinkers there too. I guess what I'm thinking is maybe
Actually, something, now that you say life drinkers, something pops out from your notes. You're aware that one of Boru's old, like, one of your old enemies, Boru, for anybody who hasn't heard of this person before, he operates a sugar company that you guys suspect is part of his trafficking operations called the Sweet Soth Sugar Company.
Well, I mean, it would take us a while to get there. I'm sure.
Can we even get there? Like, right now we're fairly close to the shore.
Well, if we follow the coast for the most part, I guess. Yeah, if we follow the coast for the most part, down around there, we can get around the continent. But yeah, it's should have bought a more seaworthy vessel.
Well, that would require us to spend money.
We did get this boat for free.
I mean, we could always go down into the south and get a better boat.
Okay, I like that idea. Now, Trunk, not to be sort of not to make any assumptions here. How much do you know about the Freedlands?
Oh yes, my homeland that I grew up in, the place that I lived most of my life.
Yeah, I didn't want to, make any
Safe
assumptions.
assumption.
Yeah. So, do you know of any sort of? Would that be a good, safe asylum to maybe get a boat?
Oh, get a boat? Of course. We could just go to Boat Town, not that far away.
Is Boat Town part of the Freedlands? I thought it was more of a free nation.
Oh, hold on. Let me look at this. He starts, like, looking through the maps, which is what I am doing, trying to figure out what square this is in.
I guess my logic is just that I feel like giants and life drinkers wouldn't play very nicely together. You know.
Boat Town is C4. It's on the other side of the crack.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
But, like, it's where you go around the crack.
Oh, okay.
But like, we can totally make like a stop in at the mines and have a.
That isn't where you guys were mining. You haven't been around that spot, that part of the world before, really.
Yeah, but we can make like a stop there and then keep going to Boat Town.
I mean, I don't want to challenge your notions of geography, but the crack is sort of monumentally big.
Yeah, you guys actually, when you guys were working that, well, I guess actually most of you weren't there, but when you were down in that mine, that was at the very, very bottom of the crack, close to Soth.
Okay.
And we've traveled all over the place.
That would explain
Yeah.
sort of the jungle terrain. Yeah, we've been around.
We haven't been east.
On the other side of the continent?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel safer in the Freedlands. I feel like that's sort of less under control of the Empress and everyone that wants to kill us, at the very least.
But we still got people to kill.
I know, but I don't think we're going to be able to do that in the current state.
Need some time off?
Well, not even time off. We just need a better boat. Because this will not outrun anybody. We're kind of a
Where's-
sitting duck in a
Where's
bad boat.
Boat Town? Where did we just? Where?
You see the... Hold on. Go up.
Mhm.
Up a bit more. It's on an island just at the edge of the crack there, directly up from where you are.
I did not see the crack actually there. Crack's here.
No, higher.
There's a different crack.
Oh.
Yeah, it's 2.
I did not notice the second crack.
I think we should go there.
So
If we
Boat
can-
Town is at the tip of the island, sort of as it loops in towards that tiny little bay. Well, extremely large bay, but
Let's go there.
Okay.
Bigger, better boat.
Get a better boat. Is it? Because I guess it's off that main continent where we're super wanted. Like Boat Town, it's not affiliated. It's if I
it
remember
might be. It'll be easier if I just show you guys by following where the which
Yeah.
quadrant you're on.
Now, if I remember correctly about Boat Town, that is a group of sailors were like, hey, pirating is fun, but what if
Nope.
we had a... No, that's different?
That's on the plumb other side of the continent.
Ah, dang.
Boat Town is a Torgish city.
Oh, perfect. That's what I wanted. I trust the Torgs.
So you guys, if I remember correctly, are in E4.
Yes.
Now, to be fair, Andy thinks most Torgs are like drunk. So, that might be a part of
Happy and nice.
it. Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no.
Now, Trunk, you're the only Torg I've ever met, but everyone is very happy and really loving of life, correct?
So from there, you'd be going to D4,
Yep. D4,
and then you'd be going south to D5.
5.
Can you just boat over the crack?
No, you cannot just boat over the crack.
No. As I said,
It's not like the things in Minecraft, like the lava blocks in Minecraft that just kind of shake the
Also,
boat.
that's not D5.
Well, that's what my thing says.
That's
D5.
A5.
Well, then what's A5? Let's see what A5 is. A5 is A5. Okay. Well, that's incorrect, but we know where it is, and I can fix it by the time we get there.
Anyways, what about C5? Okay, that's back to what should be on the map. And then if you go up to C4, right above that, it's Boat Town.
Boat Town.
Right on the Boat Town.
Boat Town!
We're gonna get ourselves a boat. We're gonna sail
Boat
it.
Town. We're a musical supergroup.
Yeah.
We're very good at the music.
Chelsea, lay me down a sick beat.
No,
Boom.
That's pretty sick.
that was pretty sick.
That was
Not gonna lie.
not, by definition, not a beat.
I would say that was a single beat.
There's one beat.
I learned all about this earlier at dinner.
You did. You really did. Lane really gave you the ropes, the real rundown of.
I taught her the ropes.
No! No! What have I done? Oh, woe is me.
I'd like to imagine that as OWO. Oh, woe is me.
Oh.
Oh, woe is me.
Okay, let's not start that again.
Is there any one time?
Hypothetical. Well, no. No.
One.
You
one.
can have 1-4.
Could you have 4-1? Which is just 4 whole notes, I think.
Yeah, I guess.
We are so far off topic.
Anyway,
Yeah.
hey, I was singing a cool song about how I wanted to go to Boat Town as sort of a fun transition, and then y'all jumped on my back.
Anyways, we're going to Boat Town.
We're going to Boat Town.
Just ignore me.
Okay.
Town.
Oh, you don't show up on camera, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, I know
So-
how it goes.
In that case, you guys, there's a few ways around it. You'd have to get past, what's the place? You'd have to get past Raven's Rook, which is that nearby city at the point, and you'd have to go over open ocean, effectively. Or you could do a really long northward loop, and even then, if you're following the crack, you'd be going over open ocean anyways.
Well, my vote is to minimize the amount of open ocean we traverse, given how our boat is not seaworthy, barely river-worthy. I wouldn't even classify it as, like, tub-worthy.
You don't think it's worthy of a tub?
Well, I don't think it would fit in the tub, is sort of my concern.
I mean, if that's the definition, I would argue that the bulk of boats are not tub worthy.
Yeah. I just was really hoping you wouldn't question my semantics.
You don't know what kind of show this is.
Oh, no. Oh, man.
You good over there? We having a technical moment?
No, just keep going without me. I'm sorting out the map.
Chelsea, did you
Okay.
see my tights?
You mean these 3?
Yes.
No, you gave them to me.
Oh. Roland's is my other dice.
Mystery man. Now it's
How
got-
long are we going? Would we be going over open ocean if we were to go past Ravenstruck?
Quite a bit if I remember the map. That isn't up anymore.
Is it significantly
No, it's
more than
up.
if we were to do the long route all the way up north
Yeah.
in terms of open ocean?
I think
There is a specific thing blocking us. Like the crack is specifically blocking us from just jutting across and going over.
So, what's some? I hate to do this to you, Ken. Can you go to the next map over this way?
Yep. Luckily, it's favorable for my conditions.
It's not that far.
Well, in a boat that isn't seaworthy, I think that would be pretty far.
with good wind heading your way and all that stuff, you usually can make it like 2 to 3 squares every 2 hours or so.
Okay.
Like we have 30 days of food. We can get the boat down.
Okay.
It's just, being able to afford things.
Could you go to the big
after
map,
that.
world map?
Okay, now that's a big ask.
The things he does for money.
Things
Never
I
understand.
do because I haven't fixed this method because I'm too lazy. Alright. Tragic.
I don't think it would be significantly more open ocean. Because we're going to have to go past that crack anyway.
Yeah, because Boat Town's in there, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So once we get across Raven's Rock, we can kind of go close to shore around the crack. Yeah, I think that's our best bet. Is to cross the ocean past Raven's Rook. Make it to because we could go north. You're right. We could go north and follow the coast all the way around it.
But then we're still going to have to go past the crack anyway. So we have to go through open ocean anyway.
Well, time is of the essence, and I think that drowning at sea probably isn't the worst way that we could potentially die. Let's do it.
All right. Why don't we go back to where we are? Somebody want to be keeping an eye for the group?
I'll
we can
keep an
start
eye
making some headway.
for the group.
You'll keep the eye.
I'll keep. Yes.
So you were right next to the tip of the point there.
Those are whip noises. Oh, the 10 of hearts. And 10 of hearts is the one that happens.
All right.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
So as you're making your way through storage, picking out different things, trying to figure out the different parts of the ship, find rope, all that sort of stuff, you manage to find that there's some old fishing nets in the belly of the ship. As it happens, you're making your way over open ocean, which means you're getting a lot of distance. You move just shy of half that. Sorry, a little bit more than half that, rather, right at the intersection of the two lines. No, less distance. Over one and up. There we go.
Okay.
Does somebody want to roll a fateful d6?
I'll do it. Yeah. 3.
3. Now, how did I see? You guys were rolling 4s, anyways. All right. So at this point, you guys actually start slowing down somewhat because the wind is coming at you sort of at a 45-degree angle as you're making distance. You slow down a decent bit. You end up actually tightening up a lot of the sails real close. That being said, you still manage to get just enough traction to sort of move almost against it.
Cool.
Cool.
We're boating.
We're boating.
We be boatin'.
Speaking of which, it is noon. What is for lunch?
Okay, so I don't know what molasses is.
It's like, think of it like
It's a really thick syrup.
if you're going to use it in a recipe, it's either where you would put sugar or syrup.
Basically, molasses is syrup.
Syrup? Okay, I decided I was going to try to soak the hardtack in molasses.
You have some sticky hardtack.
Oh boy.
Is it any softer?
Nope. It's stickier though.
Well, it was, Vesta, we all have our strengths, and I think yours was sort of bread and any food that isn't hardtack. Like, it's you weren't supposed to make it hard and tacky.
I'm trying my best.
Can I roll science here to see if there's a better way to make hard flour mixture soft?
Can I do the same thing but roll a baker?
Now, don't worry, guys. I think I can still cut it. I just need to get my axe.
This is not the time for humor. This is serious.
12.
24.
There's always time for humor.
So with the 24, this is a flour and water patty. There's no yeast in here. There's no egg in here. There is nothing that could even be close to a leavening agent in here, and it's meant to stay good for ages. Like, this is basically a brick in composition. The only thing you can do is soak and stew it. You're at the point where you're like, well, the thing is, it's just the water and the flour, which means it's kind of structurally more of a. There's no leaven.
Bread.
And
this isn't bread. This is an ingredient that you have to prepare.
And it's at that point that Vesta basically goes, yeah, by soaking or stewing it.
Yeah. Just why didn't you do that?
I tried.
Categorically, you are very aware that this was soaked in molasses.
It's molasses. It's not.
Do you want watery sea biscuits for
Is that
every meal that you ever have?
also, is this the entire lunch?
Yes.
I just want to be able to eat. I just want to be able to eat.
Your options are hardtack, sea biscuits, or ocean biscuits.
Which wouldn't be so bad if you would just put them in water ahead of time.
Why don't you do it yourself?
I'm gonna eat my own rations.
I thought these were your own rations.
Can I look for
No, I
something
have a
hard to
separate
try to
set.
crush it with?
Sorry?
Can I look for something hard to try to crush it with?
You have like so many blunt metal objects around you. You're a bunch of fighters. You have
Okay.
all kinds of stuff.
All right, I'm just trying to break it apart into bite-sized pieces so I can just swallow it whole.
On a meta level, would you prefer this be a hardtack sea biscuit or ocean biscuit TM?
I'm gonna go hardtack, classic.
Okay, it sure is now tiny crumbs of the same thing.
Can I just swallow it whole?
Like pills with water.
They sure go in
do not
you.
put them in water right there. That is a bad instance.
Oh,
to
the
have them
cotton
expand.
mouth. The cotton mouth.
I am looking at you in horror. Like, I'm just.
Hey, it works!
Can I
It
get?
fucking works!
Can we have a pot that we can maybe put on some heat for like a little bit of time?
I throw a glass of water at Henny and say, "Do it yourself."
Okay, I am going to go try and make hardtack edible with science.
What's your attempt?
I am putting the hardtack in water and heating up that water to a low simmer for several hours.
It happens a little quicker and it comes out a bit warmer.
Is it soft?
I mean, it would have been after the 2 hours in the water.
So the heat did nothing.
It helped a little. It sped it up.
Okay.
It's the same thing, just
2 hours,
warm.
2 hours later, I have a pot full of like soft, mushy hardtack.
Meanwhile, as you were doing that, Reggie walked past eating normal ass ration.
Like, you're only 2 days out to sea. You have like salami from back home.
Yeah.
You managed to get a bottle of wine that you sort of like dipped your own like actually just bread into.
I'm looking at this pot full of kind of mush and water, and I look at it, and I pour a bit of molasses in. And I come back, and it's 2 hours and nobody's sitting there. And I put the pot on the table, and I take my bowl, and take a spoon, and I kind of spoon out, because it's not like a mush, like it's a clump of hardtack, just soft now.
I would say it's at the point where that's more of a question than the sort of thing I can answer, you know? That's more philosophical. Is it a mush? Is it a loaf? Is it a mush loaf? At what point does a loaf become a mush if it just crumbles?
It's
And-
like wet bread.
And I start eating it.
You put molasses in, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's food, and it tastes like something that at least has some complexity to it.
And I sit there kind of alone, eating my molasses tack, after spending 2 hours watching a pot boil, thinking about how Bea would probably have some sort of device that would speed this up.
Elmira pops in and says, "Well, did you get the satisfaction of being right?
No, but I did get edible hardtack.
Well, sucks to suck, I guess." And Elmira leaves.
Okay.
So who's keeping an eye out now as you're traveling? And who wants to roll that fateful d6?
I'll roll the d6.
And I'll do the lookout. Oh, bam!
I got a 4.
Yeah, Jack of Hearts. That's how it's done. I'm taking the Jack.
All right. So at this point, you're also thinking of the net, because you're noticing as you look into the sea that there's all kinds of creatures that are sort of following along with your boat. There's schools of fish that'll follow it for a few minutes and head off. Occasionally, you'll see the fins, a couple dolphins sort of arc over and then head off.
You know, Reginald, if we take that net and attach weights to it and drag it behind our boat, we could absolutely devastate the coral reefs in this area.
Oh,
Or we
hot
could,
take.
or we could pollute the earth until they just start bleaching.
God, I hate coral reefs. Can I roll science to see how I can kill a coral reef the fastest?
I think it's fishing nets.
Yeah, I got a 21 for killing coral reefs.
I mean, it's just fucking breaking. I'm sure does it.
All right, yeah. Listen, we gotta cast that net wide. Just drag it, just drag it over those reefs. Man, I hate them. All those colorful fish. Ugh.
As for the wind, it's now behind you at a 45-degree angle, and it's getting you a decent bit of headway. You've loosened up the sails, and you're making solid distance.
2 hours later, and he is still like, yeah, back in Hammerwatch, we had this thing play. Nemo finding his dad. God, I hated that little idiot. Just find your dad, moron.
How hard is it not to get caught in a fishing net?
Easy
God.
peasy.
I've never gotten caught in a fishing net before.
So, do you guys want to pull up that map again? Get some
Yeah.
distance?
Map.
You move 3 squares on the grid. As you get closer to Raven's Rook, it's just barely in view. As you guys have been traveling and going with the waves, it's the same thing. Your boat kind of crests them and it feels rickety and off. Luckily, you haven't had to be perpendicular to them. You've been more or less at angle or coming straight on, so you haven't seen the worst of it yet. You guys get closer to Raven's Rook, and you make your way around it. You can see that it's at the top of a very high cliff, and that there's a winding sort of set of steps that goes down to the docks below. Very much, you can see that there's a tall, stately castle up top, and then just sort of a couple of fishing docks and that sort of thing. Here, the limestone is sort of eroded away, and there's all kinds of pockets and little holes in the caves. You managed to get past it without being spotted, as far as you know. You're a small, inconspicuous ship.
Very
And-
small.
A small smoldering wreckage that shouldn't be able to float.
People are just like, oh, there must have been a crash somewhere, and this is just the fucking flotsam.
Yeah, I'd be more worried about them coming into life, but like, hey, do you need help? It's you!
Alright. During that time, I'm gonna go up to Trunk
Mhm.
and just kind of. So, Trunk, I think that we might need some additional supplies that we can get in our travels.
Oh yeah, what sort of stuff?
Well, we have a net, and there's fish, and fish is not hardtack / ocean biscuit TM. And I think it would be a good opportunity.
I'm just imagining that Ocean Biscuit TM is like the name of it.
I mean, it'll slow us down a little bit, but you can give it a shot. Roll open ocean, wouldn't hurt.
All right.
Just bring it in if we get closer to shore so it doesn't get caught.
Man, I just hate those coral reefs.
Hate those coral reefs. God, I hate them.
Still going on about Nemo and his dad?
Oh, I'm pretty sure he was a life drinker. all I'm
The
saying.
dad or Nemo?
All I'm saying is that dad, scientifically, would have become Nemo's mom because clownfish change gender depending on how many there are of a species in an area.
Throwing the rope over.
Now, my question is, what does that have to do with anything?
I like that. I also like that over time, because of how modern Henny is, Hammerhold, has just become this place that's just a direct parallel of our world. And whenever we want something in our world to exist in the Bloodwine universe, we just say it's a weird thing in Hammerhold that they did.
It's a very large city. There's a lot of subcultures.
Yeah. One of them is things Gabe knows about.
That's the entire thing.
subculture.
Ah, yes, Gabe Core.
Yeah, Gabe Core. They all dress in plaid sweaters and
They know the first half of The Little Mermaid.
and sunglasses, and they hate Disney movies. And
Except for some of them.
except for some of them, except for the good ones, of which there are 3.
See, the thing is, if you said of which there are 9, I could see that being a super controversial opinion. But once you're at 3, I feel like it gets to the point where you're like, okay, well, like if it's that few, it's like Lion King,
Nope.
Little Mermaid.
Nope.
No.
He's only seen the first half of The Little Mermaid because he was too scared to
Yeah.
watch the rest of it.
I remember the first half of
What,
The
you
Little
were just
Mermaid.
expecting a net to come down and crush her entire town?
Well,
and,
okay.
Yeah.
My question is your barometer for which ones are the best the ones Gabe likes, or
Yes.
like the ones
Yes.
that have some sort of objectively positive
No,
metric?
yeah,
I could
the
be-
ones Gabe likes.
One
Okay.
Gabe likes.
So
Which-
you're gonna say like the good ones, so like Treasure Planet.
I haven't seen Treasure Planet, but
It's
it is on
good.
Treasure Planet. I've never seen it. It's on the list.
I feel like you need to watch Treasure Planet because either it would be your new favorite thing, or we could all watch you get really angry.
No, it's Treasure Planet because at least they tried something, and the same with the Atlantis one,
Yeah.
which I also haven't seen, and then
The Emperor's New.
The Emperor's New Groove,
Yeah, Emperor's
and
New.
those are the 3 ones that I think are good.
So you're
So 2
No,
that you
no,
haven't
you'll-
seen, and the Emperor's New Groove.
He also liked Tangled.
I also like Tangled, but I don't count that one because that's like the modern Disney ones. So if we're gonna count that, then Star Wars is in there, and like.
Did you
yeesh.
like the Star Wars?
The new ones? No.
I think Gabe just doesn't like very many movies.
That's not true. I liked Corner Gas, the movie.
a classic.
A classic.
Was there a Corner Gas movie? There was. Was it any good?
It was amazing.
It was a
pretty
corner
good.
gas movie.
Remember the show? Well,
No.
they stretched it out to an hour. That's the movie.
It's very fun. My favorite joke in the Corner Gas movie, spoilers, is that Brent's mom.
No.
Okay, hold on. No, we have American viewers.
They do not know what Corner Gas is, and you are spoiling the entire show for them, plus the movie. No, they need to discover this Canadian heritage.
You know what? Okay, Lane. Describe to me. Let's just say I am an American viewer. I do not know what this mythical corner gas is. Gas at a corner? What is this nonsense?
So you know Saskatchewan.
No.
It's
All right, so it's in the middle of the country.
It's a rectangle and it's colder than North Dakota.
It's a rectangle.
Is it north of North Dakota?
Yes.
So is it North or Dakota?
Yes.
Yes,
But if you call it that, they will shoot you on sight.
and there's absolutely nothing. Have you ever played Minecraft?
Yes.
You know super flat mode? That is literally Saskatchewan. You just keep traveling. Eventually, you come to a village.
So there's,
Otherwise,
so
and
there's
then you gotta
slimes.
fight off tons of slimes. Slimes everywhere.
But the slimes
Anyways.
are called bigots. Anyway.
If you keep traveling, eventually you'll come to a village called Rolo, and there's a gas station called Corner Gas, and that's what the show is about. Is just this tiny ass, like,
It's about
So it's a gas station based comedy.
it's a gas station based comedy. There's a restaurant
Now, of course,
attached to the
Oh.
gas station.
Yeah.
We're really
Oh.
bringing in the big guns.
and the lady that runs the restaurant is from Toronto.
from
Could you
Toronto.
imagine?
She also
so
sells
exotic.
Big
turtles at some point.
She does sell baby turtles at some point.
And also, the inside of one of the houses was actually shot in Regina.
All of them
Like, if
were,
you go
yeah.
into any of the houses, because they're real houses, it's a real town.
Yeah, people just live here and they say, "Can we build like a fake town hall over your house?" And they're like, "Oh, okay."
This is the most interesting thing that's ever happened in this town. Fuck yeah, you can.
Now, just because this amused my 10-year-old self to no end, the main character,
Yeah.
what's his name again?
Brent Leroy?
What's the actor's name?
Brent Butt!
Brent Butt.
And the creator of the show has gone on the record to say that him and Brent are the same. Just, oh, it's so good.
Because Brent Leroy literally becomes a comedian.
He does, yeah.
And it's his dark secret.
His
Like,
dark
come
secret.
on.
His dark secret is that he's a comedian, and then the police officers want him to tell more funny jokes about police officers.
Now, this is an important question. The characters of Corner Gas.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's Brent the Gas Man.
Yes.
Brent the Gas Man, Brent the Gas Man's dad, Oscar the former Gas Man.
And he's very angry.
He's very
he says
angry,
jackass
says
a lot.
jackass
And
a lot.
when I was a kid, it made me uncomfortable that he said jackass, so I wrote a letter to the Corner Gas crew to ask Oscar to stop swearing so much.
There's the mom.
Yes, Emma.
There's the two police officers.
Two police officers, Karen and Davis. Davis is a big dummy, and Karen is like
How did this happen?
a preppy lesbian.
You got them discussing, like,
Would I be right to say she's like a preppy lesbian?
I feel
Yeah,
like in
preppy.
vibe. I don't think
Yeah,
is that
yeah, in
canonical
vibe,
in the
in vibe.
show?
No, because she does get pregnant in the show. Or in the
What?
movie. In the movie, she's
Oh
pregnant.
yeah.
Because the actor was pregnant.
And then I think there's what's her name who's in charge of the restaurant, and
Lacey.
then just a guy.
Hank.
Hank's just a guy.
He's not just a guy, he's a moron.
He's Brent's best friend.
The only food he has in his house is pickles and licorice. That's
Pickles
all he ever
and Pop
buys.
Rocks.
Yeah, pickles and Pop Rocks. And he's so stupid that they ban him from the town, and he only owns a pickup truck. So they like take the keys to his pickup truck, and he's stranded out there. And he's like, "Please, I'll die." And they're like, "You'll live. It's your fucking house." And he says, "No, you don't understand. I'm down to my last pickle." And so they leave him to
One
die.
time he choked on the same pickle twice.
Yeah, he was choking on a pickle and they gave him a Heimlich maneuver and he spit out the pickle and he put it back in his nose and choked again.
And that's how we'll end this tangent.
That went on for way too long. I'm
You
so
two.
sorry.
okay.
I'm so sorry.
I've watched a lot of Corner Gas
You don't
being a
understand.
Canadian child, but you two take the fucking cake on
You
this.
don't.
I can't.
You don't understand. Our mom made
Our mom held a Corner Gas viewing party. We're leading up to.
after like over a year. We watched every single episode.
And
And
ranked
ranked
them based on characteristics such as which character shined in this episode, which one didn't, how was the humor, how was the Saskatchewan-ness.
So my favorite thing about this entire like meta endeavor of this tangent is this is an elbow in the story. It's a good place, just like a prior one, where new viewers might jump on. And so the purpose of this episode is we establish what the characters are like, what they do, what the relationships are like to each other, what's the plot, and what's our table dynamic. So we did all of that. So now all that's left is the table dynamic. So I just get to sit here and go, so Corner Gas.
So Chelsea, would you say my family has a healthy relationship with this show?
No.
Well,
I've met everybody in your family. Like you guys didn't have any form of entertainment as children, with the exception of Corner Gas.
And the first half of The Little Mermaid.
And the first, because Gabe couldn't watch the second half.
Gabe we had the not scary Veggie Tales. We couldn't watch Where's God When I'm Scared. That one was too scary.
It had a Frankenstein celery.
We couldn't watch the second half of The Little Mermaid.
She turns into a spooky, scraggly thing.
We didn't have TV. We didn't have, like, so then we watched Corner Gas and the first half of The Little Mermaid.
It's funny. I think I've seen one episode of Corner Gas, and like I didn't find it very funny. I didn't like it. I was like, I don't know. This
See, I find it really funny too because it's one of those things where that's your impression with one episode. You guys have watched the entirety of this show a number of times, like through to a religious extent.
The thing is, I'm at the point where I agree with both of you because it's like I watched this show because there was nothing else on TV for like a span of time, and I was a bored teenager with depression. So like I just took all of this in with the knowledge of this is not a very good show. Yeah, but the thing is, I was like, yeah, I've seen like one episode, and he was like, which one?
Well, that's the thing, because
That would be my follow-up too.
Yeah, that would be my follow-up exactly. Because if you were able to recite the episode, like what happened, Gabe can no doubt do it, and then he'll pull up the chart of all the rankings and just be like, well, you see, it was a very low-ranking one. You gotta watch one of these other ones. It's a higher-ranking one.
See, I hate to
There
be...
was one episode. Sorry. There was one episode.
We weren't allowed to watch it.
We weren't
It
allowed
was the
to watch
forbidden episode.
There was one we were never allowed to watch because
The Fishman episode.
the fishing episode because it's when people go
Oh
fishing
my
with
God,
Hank and they
The
find
sexy
find,
fish man.
Yeah, they find Hank too sexy, and then Davis is like gay for Hank.
It's so good. Yeah, because the episode starts with Hank being like, hey, Davis, want to go fishing? It's like, oh, no, I don't want to go fishing. But Karen, you'll go fishing. And then Karen goes. And for some reason, when Hank is fishing, he's irresistibly sexy. And she sleeps with him. Or maybe she doesn't. And then she gets back and she's like, why'd you do this to me, Davis? Why'd you send me fishing with Hank? And he's like, last time I went fishing with Hank, I had feelings. And it's never brought up again.
I love it too because of the pair of them. Like that cop is this like super tall, like giant of a man, but the way he plays this character is very like happy, like soft spoken, like basically Trunk. And so
Yeah.
just like this like over 6 foot tall beast of a man is like, I had feelings.
I had to kill those feelings.
My gosh, I'm never like we were.
Why don't we pull up the map? Let's pull up the map. Just this is at a point where like,
No, I was fishing, goddammit!
We were driving down the road today.
Sexy
What is my
Oh my
sex
God.
appeal while fishing?
actually that's a good point. You're a romance author, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay, Chelsea, please tell your story. You got cut off.
We were driving down the road today and gave me the Corner Gas reference that I didn't realize was a Corner Gas reference because I've never seen Corner Gas. And everybody was like, ha ha ha, that's a good one, Gabe. And then I was like, yeah, I mean, that's a little bit weird, but okay. And then, like, they were like, I bet Chelsea didn't even realize it was a Corner Gas reference.
Yes, because I said, man, it would be pretty gross if he put on a pair of pants that you found on the side of the road. I know that episode. And my family starts reciting like the preceding and following lines verbatim as Chelsea's like, oh god, it's happening.
Is that wait? Are the road pants also the magic cargo pants? Because both are
No.
Hank, right?
No, Davis. No. It's Oscar's the one that finds the gross pants on the side of the road and decides to become a trash collector.
The thing that's beautiful about this show is that it's like it's country Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Everyone's an asshole, and they get into mundane situations. But it's not like dating people and like bumping into people at coffee shops and like hobnobbing at corporate meetings. It's like
the town wants to install a new traffic light and everyone is really mad about it.
and the cops have to confront the like restaurant owner because she keeps just going right through a yield. And it's one of those things where it's like there's a point where you have to respect her authority here. And it's like a major entire episode long plot that's this feud between someone going, why would I stop for a yield sign? And someone going, our town has rules. Like, there's 2 cops, and at this point, I'm just personally insulted.
Or when the your fire department is just the exact two, like, they're two people that are, like, almost the exact same as the cops, but just way better at their jobs.
Yeah, Carol and David, and they're competent. And the police are like, they did a fire drill, we need to do a police drill. Like, we can't let these guys take our slot as the sole authority in this town.
Like it's country Seinfeld.
You're gonna have to cut this whole section.
Yeah, I've literally just been like, fuck, this is gold, but how the fuck am I putting this in a highlight video? Like, fucking Christ.
Okay,
I feel like if we put this in a highlight video, it has to just be
This! It's just this! That's all it is!
it's just we talk about corner gas. You don't even have to cut it, it's just start and end. Gabe has left the room. He is pacing, attempting to breathe.
This is not an uncommon occurrence.
He's going outside. He's leaving. He's going to get some air. He needs to calm down.
Man, this... I feel like...
I can't tell if you're crying.
There were a lot of things that I thought we would danger on that would just derail an episode. I was not expecting it to be Canadian legendary TV show Corner Gas.
I've seen like an episode or two. And like didn't think they were very good.
They're not.
You wouldn't get it.
And it's one of those things where like now if you've never seen Seinfeld and you watch Seinfeld, it's like I get how this was important to like comedy, but like it's not funny. But Corner Gas was never funny. But we all watched it because there's not a lot going on.
Listen, like,
No, Lane's gone. Lane's gone. He's gone.
Will, I need you to understand that when I heard the extended version of the Corner Gas theme, I legitimately cried. I was legitimately overwhelmed with a feeling of nostalgia for the prairies and for a simpler time, and I legitimately started crying. Because it is beautiful.
I can't shame you for that because I was watching This House Has People in It, and there's a line where the dad goes to the kid and it's like, it's not a good time to have a birthday, and I had to pause it and go, now we're out to sea.
Where are we now? I had no idea.
Let's just pick up the map and figure out where the fuck we are.
Reggie was fishing.
I was fishing. How'd I do?
Killing the coral reefs.
Killing the coral reefs. Does that fall under militactics?
No, that's gonna be a craft fishing or a mental fishing, and I believe you have neither.
Yes, you are correct. Can I still roll it?
Yeah.
This is my craft. That's an 8.
An 8.
That's not bad.
So I'm presuming this is physical and you're very strong. So you reel this thing in and you finally get the net in, and there's like one fish just like stuck in it and then a single dolphin, and you're like, I can't eat a dolphin. And so you have one fish. It's a salmon.
Net gain.
It's weird that it's here.
This is my. I'm taking this. I'll lower the dolphin back in.
You fished something and it was yours.
It
No one
is-
taught you, and this won't feed you for a day.
It definitely will not, but it's better than hardtack and sea biscuits and ocean biscuit TM.
Speaking of which,
Fucking map.
some time has passed, and it is now the...
Some time has passed.
Some time has passed, and it's the late afternoon. Who's going to be at the head of the group here?
Me!
You know we have other people on this ship.
I'll die before I let...
Actually, to be fair, I was going with this because you guys are learning to sail.
Yeah, I'll die before I let Elbjorn poop deck. I got a 6.
And that's exactly what.
Okay, it's a 6 of spades, right?
Yeah.
Okay. As you say that, you come to a realization. You have to poo. What does this entail?
I'm gonna look for some sort of sea toilet, some latrine. Desperately, growing more frantic by the minute.
You go past the galley where by now it's the late afternoon, so you're in the prep work for dinner, but I'll ask you the question once it's over. So you encounter. Why don't you just, Vesta? Would you describe the mysterious scene? Try and give us a bit of a hint of what Vesta sees on the way to the bathroom.
What Vesta sees?
Of what Henny sees of Vesta's machinations.
Oh, just kind of stuff all over the place. You're gonna see some pots. They're all boiling, and you know the oven's going.
That's a good sign, I guess.
What visible ingredients are there?
You see some fish, and you see some ocean biscuits, TM.
Half of that is maybe edible. I've honestly lost a lot of faith in Vesta's cooking.
Oh, man.
I'm not given very much. Like, you get hardtack, and you get fish.
At least I made the hardtack edible.
I was going to say, as the GM, at least I'm assuming you have salt.
The fish is salted.
So, Henny, you make your way past whatever this is, with whatever questions it poses, and you're now in the bathroom. There's a number of, barrels of water where people go and fill things up, and there's a sloshing noise and a hatch.
I'm going to investigate the hatch.
You open it up. The sloshing noise is there. You think you see light every now and again. We haven't done the actual sailing and distance thing, so I'm going to give you a bit of suspense on that. Who wants to do the fateful D6 roll for the wind?
I will.
Will it be a good poop?
3.
3. Okay. And where are we on the map, and which way are we going?
We are here, and we are going west.
Yep.
Straight west?
We're
I
going.
thought are we going west or southwest? Are we going down and around, or are we going across and then some weird way to cut across the crack?
Zoom.
Zoom? Zoom.
Is that west?
I'm assuming.
I don't know the map very well. Is it that I don't know where we're going actually on the map.
So, we'll pull this up again.
Again?
The next one over, I believe, might be all we need just to resolve this question.
So there's the crack, and we would have to somehow get past this, which goes all the way north, in order to boat town.
So southwest.
Yes, we have to go southwest.
Okay. You guys have barely enough, so I'm going to re-roll this. You have barely enough wind to get by, but you're still making some progress. Actually, a surprising amount. You make it 2 squares about.
We're all the way over here. Like right there?
Next one.
Yep. Yep.
So as you're traveling along, now is the question of the waves. Do you want to roll odds or evens?
Do I have to say which one?
Yep.
Evens.
You
That's
did
an
it.
even.
Okay. The waves aren't moving parallel to you or anything like that. You're far out to sea, so there's big crests and falls, but you aren't actively going back and forth like that. You're kind of just going up and down. As it happens, though, you're on a down when there's a poof, and Henny, as you're sitting there looking, you whoosh, as there's a Poseidon's kiss.
Well, I guess that is sort of the ocean, and I'm glad that wasn't my butthole. Time to nervously I take a big old poop.
All right, roll odds or evens for Poseidon's kiss.
Oh man. Evens. Shit, I should probably re-roll that.
Well, you're rolling long odds.
Yeah, just run die.
Oh, okay, evens. Yay.
Okay, you evade Poseidon's kiss.
Whew. Man, but like I
For
did roll a 6, so I feel like as I get off the little chamber, it's like it kind of splash comes up like a bidet, you know.
Penny don't need no stock up no toilet paper.
No.
See, the thing I'm imagining though is this is salt water, so like later in the day there would just be like a very thin film almost.
Yeah, salt water.
Also, you're a Volpe. You have fur.
Oh yeah, I do. Not on my butt though. I keep that shaved.
You keep your butthole shaved?
For wiping. I don't want to wipe fur. That's nasty.
You keep your butthole shaved?
I don't know. Is that bad? Is that wrong?
The rest of your body is covered in hair, with the exception of your butthole.
It's like the fucking corgis that give like little things shaped but inverted. So just a bunch of hair and then like a little heart around the butthole.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Henny's a bit of a germaphobe, okay?
The things we're learning on this stream.
I feel like with your anatomy, it'd be like something that people notice all the time.
I'm wearing pants.
Yeah, she's wearing pants.
Okay. You're right. I'm thinking of your okay.
Bea liked it very much.
The little heart shave around the butthole, eh?
I'm sure Bea helped you with that.
No, I've gotten pretty good at it.
You just need a mirror.
Yeah.
Patience.
Not even
a place
anymore.
to lie down.
Hey, I have 9 mental. I don't even need a mirror.
That seems
No,
like
that
more
would
of a
be physical.
Like a physical delicate.
Well, no, okay, hang on. I want to clarify some things. A dog is not bipedal. When a doggo poops, there's no cheeks to get in the way. If you're bipedal, you need those muscles to keep your legs moving. You're gonna have a bit more butt, and that's gonna scrunch the poop.
As the owner of part owner, family had a few dogs for a number
I
of
thought you were gonna
years.
say butt, and I was terrified.
As the owner of a butt.
Well, the part owner of a butt.
Like, well, what are you into? Wait.
Oh, whoa. Where the fuck was I going with that?
Dogs. You had dogs.
Yeah, dogs.
Occasionally, if it's a really warm winter or a cold winter rather, and you've got a dog with a lot of like undercoat,
Yeah.
you do have to touch up sometimes.
Yeah. And
Even if they ain't got cheeks.
And that's worse because I'm assuming any bipedal creature needs at least a little bit of cheek to like.
You get dingleberries.
Anyway, call me the
Well,
penny on
the
the
dogs
tracks.
get dingleberries, to be clear.
Call me the penny on the tracks because I'm great at derailing.
I'm just gonna close out this bit with a public service announcement being, you shouldn't get dingleberries. If you do, you need to wipe more. This has been a public service announcement. Who's keeping an eye out?
And also
I will.
trim your butt hair, maybe.
Oh, if a person does it, but if Henny,
Oh,
a fox
I'm
person
taking
does
the
it.
2 of
Jeez.
spades. No, of
Standard.
clubs.
Okay, it's getting later, and you're noticing that there's a few things latched to the side of the ship. They're slowly clambering their way on.
Oh fuck! That's not good.
They
Trunk.
seem,
Henny, you okay? No shit, you're not Henny. You're.
Henny, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Sorry,
Are you okay?
you guys see that there's these little octopus things that have clambered onto the ship, and you notice actually that they don't pick up something valuable. It's just like one of them tries to pick like one of the loops off the side of the ship, and as they come towards you, you notice that these things are trying to steal anything shiny.
Well, I'm. Can I hit one with a hatchet?
Yeah, they're little things. It's quick work, but you hack these things up and get them off of the boat.
Reggie is covered. I want to. I peel one off of Reggie's shell and I take a sniff to see if it smells even remotely edible.
Roll science.
Yeehaw. That's a 5, 14, 19.
19. Ooh, that's very poison.
Vesta?
You think you've smelled this off someone's breath once on an investigation.
Vesta? Do you need any poison reagents?
I could use some, I guess.
Well, we have sort of a whole what's an octo, a whole flock of octopus worth.
Okay. Throw them in a bucket somewhere.
Okay.
You guys don't have an available bucket. It's occupied.
Put it in there with it.
Bea would have. Oh no. Oh. Oh damn.
Oh jeez, have I made it so that Henny's gonna have like an oh no my breakup moment every time that a container is mentioned?
A little bit.
It's basically, hey, we need this item. Bea would have that item.
Yeah.
Every single fucking time.
Yo.
You made Bea too useful, goddammit.
Yeah.
We're all feeling the loss.
Well, yeah, but like.
So what's for dinner?
Thanks.
Okay. For dinner, I have. So what I've done is I've pre-soaked these ocean biscuits TM.
Oh, thank God.
And then I tried to make them not like wet bread. Like I'll maybe try to like squeeze the water out of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna put butter on them. And then we're gonna oven roast some stockfish.
Okay, this stockfish, as you lift it up, like it's like when you have like a busted boot and you've been walking around in winter and it's like coated in like road salt and it's just crispy.
Okay.
Like
I think the stockfish was for making like sort of a stew stock or a soup stock.
it's literally like a rigid, fully dried fish. This needs to be tenderized with a mallet.
Okay. We'll do pork instead.
All right. So you guys get some oven roasted pork and some bread with butter on it, and roll that bacon.
Roll that baking. Oh gosh, that wasn't very good. 7.
Well, if anybody's hurt and or tired in terms of your health, you heal 7. It's food. At long last, it's food, and it tastes like things.
I'm also gonna cook up my fish. Reggie was not expecting an actual meal, so he just takes a normal human portion and then also eats a fish.
Yeah, you got like a pan-fried fish, and so it's basically like you have a normal version, and then like a fish.
Yeah.
Like a salmon.
Yeah.
Salmon are pretty big.
Now, somebody want to roll for the wind and direction? You guys are presumably sailing through supper.
I don't. Oh, 1.
Oh no.
Oh, 1. All right.
Oh, 1.
I mean, not all of these rolls are numbers upwards. Sometimes they're
Yeah.
just arbitrary counting methods.
Yeah, I know. He's used this method before in the previous game. It's not bad.
That's what you think.
That's what you think. You're not the one that had your butthole today.
Just to be clear, the result of the 1 means the wind is blowing in the direction the ship is going.
Okay. But how are our buttholes?
Good question. Want to roll odds or evens?
No.
Long odds.
Evens. Odds.
Odds.
It's a rhyme.
So you guys are able to make some really solid progress as you like sail through dinner. That being said, you might even be able to like unfurl the spinnaker and get extra distance in, but the waves are moving perpendicular to you. So as you're moving fast, you're moving almost like 30 degrees.
Hope nobody gets seasick.
Well, you guys might not have to worry about yourselves because the horses are not happy below decks.
I believe it.
Shocker on that one.
Yeah.
All of our many horses.
Got lots of
A
them.
multitude of horses, all like 11 of them.
Do we have anybody who's good at handling, like somebody who could go calm them down?
Trunk,
I can't calm them down. I can hold them down.
Trunk, you're good at
Not that
calming
many.
Not that
people down. Does that skill transfer?
No.
Damn.
Now I have bestial senses. I'm not sure what that means.
Oh, that just means you hear real good.
Oh,
You got real good hearing.
never mind then. I could hear those horses being in distress.
Hey, do the voice.
I can hear those horses being in distress.
I'm not quite feeling it. You need more swears.
Ah!
There it is.
Actually, Reggie, you aren't doing anything. You've eaten. You want to go down and give it a shot?
I might as well, yeah.
Want to make a very specific roll?
Very specific. How specific?
As in, we've discussed this.
Well, if it's what I think it is, that's a 2.
Okay. You're trying to calm them down, and you're just sort of talking like, whoa, whoa. And I mean, you've dealt with horses before. You run you sit on a wagon and drive it. So you're able to calm them after some time. This is something you've done before. But as this happens, for a second, they finally start to settle down, you almost feel like you start to settle down a bit yourself. There, once you've sort of gotten them used to the rocking, keeping them there, you're getting used to it yourself. There's like an ebb and flow, a pulse to the ocean.
I go with the flow.
All right. So by now, you want to pull up that map? You guys are rocking pretty crazily, but you won't be rocking anymore if you're going real fast with the spinnaker. The danger is if you're moving with the waves, because you'll be going quack, quack, quack into the waves of the flat bottom boat. So do you guys want to unfurl it?
We've been sailing for a couple hours now. I think we're ready.
Vesta finally made us a good meal. Let's do it.
All right. You guys are going straight west, and you unfurl all of your sails ready to go. Last but not least, you get this thing hooked up at the top of the jib in the front, and then on both sides, and you unfurl a big triangular sail that balloons out forward. Gives you some extra distance.
Yahoo!
All right. You guys end up moving 3.5 squares. By now, it is just sort of like the evening.
That's west. We're going southwest.
You can choose to have gone... Oh, right, sorry. If you go southwest, you wouldn't have been able to do this.
Oh, okay,
I think it's fine if we just...
Okay, let's go west. Let's go west.
All right. Want to peel it back just like
Oh, yeah.
a square or so? Because you're still sort of out to sea. So now you guys are out to sea. It's the evening. You've made it all the way out to where you can just barely see a landmass in the distance. What do you guys want to do now? You guys can't stay up forever.
Well, we should probably...
Shifts. Go to sleep.
Shifts, yeah, I kind of want to keep moving, but we made some good distance, and I'm not 100% sure they're going to be as able to track us as they were when we were in the wagon, but I'm still a little uneasy.
I mean, they can always scry on you and see ocean.
True.
Black. It's ocean.
True. That's a good point. Well, what do you guys think?
I think we should do our normal watches, just kind of hunker in for the night, and have someone who's kind of done a little bit on each shift.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
All right. You guys get taught sort of the basics of tearing things down. You take down the sails so you don't blow random directions. You tie them down so they don't get unfurled in the night. And you're nowhere where you really... I guess you're a little bit too far out to lay down anchor, aren't you? So your watches are going to have to keep an eye out to make sure you don't drift anywhere you don't need to be. That being said, we'll resolve that tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow. In a week or so.
Okay.
This has been a session.
Oh, but before we wrap up, before we go, just before everyone goes to bed, Henny's gonna have a secret little talk with Blue.
Oh.
That we can resolve later.
Oh, okay.
Planting some seeds, eh?
Okay. Are you aware with that?
So, Blue, have you heard of this show called Corner Games?
You can follow us at twitch.tv/Mr. Croden. We are live Thursdays at, we should just say 8. It's 8. It's been 8.
No, it's...
We can't give up on this.
Okay, the later half of 7.
We're not slipping any further.
We're not slipping any further, otherwise it's just going to be midnight.
Yeah.
You can catch us on YouTube after we upload the episodes. You can find the rules at bloodwine.fandom.com. And anything coming up this week?
Continuing RimWorld.
How's it going?
Oh, it's so much fun. I basically started it where I'm naming my people after random people that I see in chat.
Oh, that's fun.
And my main person in the Imperial Edict, or the royalty expansion that they just released, is basically constantly breaking and making like weird laws, and it's just like, you have to make me a hat made out of bird skin, and it must be a cowboy hat. I will only be satisfied then, because he doesn't have a throne room. So he just keeps being like, you know what? I'm tired of this shit. I want several hundred piles of dirt.
See, that's so bizarre because it's such a weird fit for the vibe of RimWorld, but it also fits so well.
It fits so well. The like way you actually progress in the Empire is fantastic, and you get like random psychic powers. And like they'll just be like, oh yeah, in honor of your knighthood, here is a blade that is bonded to you now. So it's your blade, and it's fucking fantastic, and it lights people on fire. Enjoy that. And
Nice.
It's
fun.
It's so good, and I'm absolutely loving it. So I'm gonna be doing that tomorrow.
All right.
Tomorrow we got some RimWorld.
Yes.
Lethal League Blaze
When I buy Lethal League Blaze and you agree to teach me how to play.
Oh, that's pretty easy. Just hit the ball.
You just
Gave us a pretty high ranking in Lethal League Blaze.
I don't know.
you have to get into the league. You got to be lethal, and you got to blaze.
You got a Blaze, yeah.
Well, I'm missing all of those things.
Spam bunt, and every time you kill someone, just go oops, 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 and then they'll scream. And if they're anything like me, they'll vow vengeance on you and your kin, and their girlfriend will leave them.
And that's been our show. Have a good night.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.